One of the things I wanted to make was a table saw sled. Now my table saw is not big by any means, so I don't need some huge gigantic sled to cover up the whole entire top. So today we're going to make a down and dirty table saw sled. One of the things that I'm going to do to start with is measure the slot that the runner's going to go in. And I've got some calipers out here, and I'm just going to take a quick measurement of the inside. These are a little bit smaller slots just because they're grooved so that they can hold the specific accessories for the skill saw table saw. So this is just shy of 3/4 of an inch, which is normal. So I'm going to set the fence up to cut this size, which is 0.65. Now as you can see how I've got the caliper set up, I'm using the end to butt up against the fence, and I've got the actual caliper braced against the outside of the blade. So now I've got the exact same measurement as I did across. So I got some of this leftover thin plywood that I'm going to use as the runners. All I'm going to do is rip down 2 strips and get them prepared for the slots. So after making a few test strips and moving the fence around a little bit, I finally got a perfect fit. This isn't too loose or too tight, so now I can go ahead and get another strip cut out and then start working on the actual sled part. So I've got this scrap piece of plywood that's 2 feet by just over 13 inches. So I'm going to make it an even 13 inches right now. I backed out the runners and the sled, and I'm just going to be pre-drilling some holes. And I'm going to be countersinking them. After you've gotten the back and the front screws put in, you can go ahead and add in any additional screws you want. So now that I've gotten my runners on, I can go ahead and run the saw blade through the middle section, and then I will be able to mount the back fence on. You want to mount the back fence on exactly 90 degrees off of the saw blade, because that's where all your squareness is going to be coming from. Now this might not be exactly square on the runners, that's why you want to do the saw blade first and then put the fence on. So I went ahead and got my front and back fences cut, and now I'm ready to attach them to the main plate. I've marked the center on each board so I know where exactly to line it up. This back one is a little bit longer so that I can have repeated cuts a little bit longer and not just the size of the board. And I'm going to eventually probably do some upgrades and put in a T-track and make stop blocks, but for now all I'm going to be doing is just attach. Now for the front side, it doesn't really matter having it clamped down or if it's square to the blade, because this is just pretty much acting to hold the 2 sides together for when you actually make a full cut through your piece of plywood on the bottom. So now I went ahead and flipped it over, And here we go. It's the completed table saw sled. This is just a down and dirty version just to get you on the way to making repetitive cuts. And you can use C clamps, regular F clamps, any kind of clamp to put a stop block in here if you want. It's really super simple to build. I'm going to leave the ends on. I might shorten them up a little bit, but I want to leave them somewhat on so that I can go ahead when I'm going to install it. I can go ahead and have a reference point to put the tracks in and then just slide it on through. This was a really easy and fun build, and I think we're going to get a lot of use out of it. Let's go ahead and make some cuts. Man, that is awesome. I have 3 pieces of identical length because of the stop block held on with my Bessie clamp. So that's pretty cool that I can make repetitive cuts and not have to worry about measuring each time. I really wanted to see if the blade was actually square to the back fence. So I cut a longer blade. If you guys remember seeing that shape, it was my push stick. I took a square and I checked it, and this is dead on 90-degree corner, which is really awesome. I wanted to make sure that this was completely square to the blade, and it's all worked out. So this was a great successful project in my book. Next thing I'm going to do is probably make some little upgrades, probably put in a T-track and make a sliding stop for the top, or I might just keep on using this. I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys make your own. This is a really cheap table saw, and I had to fiddle around with the runners a little bit, but in the end, it all worked out. I had to sand them down a little bit because they were sliding a little bit tough, and right now it's still a little bit sticky. So if you guys know how to get around that besides just sanding it a little bit, leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you guys on the next video.